Now that we've had a basic introduction to reflection, we're going to talk a bit about metacognition. You may have already noticed the term metacognition pop up a few times in our course. Specifically, you may have noticed that it is one of the 8 habits of mind that you'll be practicing throughout the course. So what does this term mean? The Framework for Success in Post-Secondary Writing defines metacognition as the ability to reflect on one's own thinking as well as the individual and cultural processes used to structure knowledge. In other words, metacognition is a process where we think about how our thinking works. We think about our thinking. The framework definition captures 2 senses of this. First, metacognition can refer to when we're thinking about our own thinking. So, for example, I might think about why I hold certain beliefs. I might think about how an argument I made contains certain assumptions, or I might even think about how and why I draw certain kinds of conclusions. Second, metacognition can refer to when we think about how the ways our culture and its institutions approach the process of thinking. This sounds complicated, and it is, but an example might help clarify. In certain intellectual traditions, knowledge is not knowledge unless there's some sort of evidence involved. Thinking about how evidence works, what counts as evidence, and why it counts as evidence at certain times in certain places is metacognition. In our course, we'll largely focus on the first sense of metacognition. Do not be fooled, though, because the more we explore this sense of metacognition, the more complicated we'll understand it to be. Learning more about metacognition and practicing it as a habit of mind is important, though, and throughout our course, you'll come to understand just how valuable it can be.